What up, everybody? Welcome to Untapped. Get ready to untap your potential in Magic the Gathering. The other day we talked about the new Simic Ascendancy. Today I'm here to bring you what I believe will be one of the most popular Simic deck types, which can very much also be a Simic Ascendancy deck, but this version utilizes what War of the Spark emphasizes on, and that's Planeswalkers. Second, there's a card that keeps popping up that everyone is curious as to how viable that card is really going to be for Simic, and you could probably guess it. Bioessence Hydra. We're going to get going and take a look at it. Afterwards, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Okay, so Bioessence Hydra. I got a lot of stuff to say about this guy. I usually follow the mana curve, starting with 1 and 2 drops, mana drops. But today I want to start by going over this big guy, who at first glance is just a 4/4 for 5, but surely in this deck he gets huge. We're running 4 in the deck, right? And the card reads Bioessence Hydra, 3, 1 green, 1 blue. It's a 4/4 with trample. Bioessence Hydra enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each loyalty counter on planeswalkers you control. Okay, so here's the catch. There's 15 cards total that can put +1/+1 counters on Bioessence Hydra. He is a guaranteed big timer in this deck. Okay, the second part of the card reads, whenever one or more loyalty counters are put on planeswalkers you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Bioessence Hydra. Okay, there are also 15 cards that proliferate, because at least 10 or 11 cards in the deck do both, right? Add a +1/+1 counter and proliferate. For example, you can proliferate 2 planeswalkers, right? Which will give it +2/+2, and it gets +1/+1 for each kind of counter on itself. Okay, it gets huge. I think players are underestimating how ginormous this guy gets, and that's not even the end to the Hydra's potential, because there is another card we're going to talk about later that doubles its attack power. Okay, and the Bioessence Hydra has trample. Alright, so Merfolk Skydiver. We discussed this in the Ascendancy deck, so I'll just briefly go over it again. A 1/1 flyer for 2, 1 green, 1 blue, that puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If there's nothing else on the board for you to target, it's a 2/2 with proliferate. Okay, it can help you out with Incubation Druid for the 3 mana trigger. This one I also have 4 of in the deck. Next up, Pollen Bright Druid for 1 and 1 green. Okay, same as the Skydiver. As it comes out, it can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Again, the minimum you get here is a 2/2. If you have nothing else to target, the +1/+1 counter can be put on Incubation Druid for the 3 mana ability. Again, both Pollen Bright Druid and Merfolk Skydiver are great cards even when drawing them late in the game. We're running 4 of those. Alright, next up, Incubation Druid, the Queen of Ramp. Again, she gets things out faster. She's great with Hydroid Krasis. She adapts into a 3/5. We're running 4 in the deck. Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner. This we're running 2 of. Okay, so we're looking for planeswalkers to drop into the 3 mana, maybe 4 mana slot, because your best creatures in the deck cost 5. Not important, but also you'll want to get 1 or 2 of these guys out, not Kiora, but planeswalkers, before you drop Bioessence Hydra. Okay, so the card reads Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner, 2, and then a green or blue hybrid. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Okay, and then -1, she untaps target permanent. Great. This deck is full of creatures with 4 or higher power. So she gives us a chance for some major card advantage, right? By drawing some cards. You may already have creatures out, like the ones I mentioned earlier, but I was looking for planeswalkers that could hold up on their own a bit, and Kiora has a whopping 7 loyalty. Her -1 serves as some protection, among other things, but you can untap a creature to protect her for a bit. I mean, but on turn 3, if she's out, you shouldn't have much to worry about. I do want to note also, don't spend too much effort into protecting your planeswalkers in this deck. If all you got is a single Kiora, with only 2 loyalty counters on her, it's fine. So you get a Bioessence Hydra that starts, keyword starts, as a 6/6 trample. It's still great. Remember, there are so many ways that he gets bigger as the game goes on. Okay, next Planeswalker. Dovin, Hand of Control. Also running 2 of. Again, I chose him because he's a 3 cost with 5 loyalty. He makes your opponent's artifacts, instants, and sorcery spells cost 1 more to play. That can slow your opponent down a tad, but his -1 also protects himself, you, and your creatures by preventing all damage that would be dealt by a target permanent your opponent controls. Great Planeswalker for the slot. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. 2 and a green. Just a 1 of in my deck, but putting in another of Vivian definitely wouldn't be a bad thing. Go for it. Vivian is a, again, 2 and 1 green Planeswalker that her passive, right? You may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Okay, her +1 until end of turn, or until next turn, sorry. Up to 1 target creature gains vigilance and reach. Her -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, and put the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and you may cast it if it's a creature card. Okay, so giving your creatures flash can never be a bad thing. Her +1 gives you the perfect block setup with vigilance and reach in case your opponent's got some pesky flyer out. But you also have the option to essentially draw into a creature with her -2, thus creating some card advantage and establishing dominant board presence. Next up, Hydroid Krasis. It has flying, it has trample, it draws you cards, it gains you life. It's a total badass. Moving on. Rolesque, Apex Hybrid. Alright, Mr. Double Trouble. He should be Mr. Triple Double Trouble because he puts counters on stuff 3 times. But doubles the proliferated counters, right? I put 2 in the deck. If all you got is a 3/3 and this guy comes out, now you got a 5/5 and a 4/5 with flying and trample. This card has its own protection, especially in this deck. Your opponent does not want to kill this guy in a deck where everything has counters on it. Okay? Because everything just gets way bigger. 2 proliferates equal double trouble all day. He proliferates, putting a counter of each kind already there. Then he proliferates again, doubling the amount of counters he puts on everything. Next up, the God Eternal Ronus. Oh, love this guy. A 3 of in this deck. This card is already amazing. He's truly amazing in a deck full of big creatures with trample. They get bigger. So this is a 5/5 for 5 with Death Touch. He's already beast mode with that alone. If he dies, he goes 3rd from the top of your library. He keeps coming back to do it all over again, right? You got Rolesque, you got Hydroid Krasis, you got Bioessence Hydra. These are chumps. These aren't chumps, and they have trample. With double the attack power, the game is most likely over right then and there, if not pretty darn soon, right? Okay. Not many instances sorceries in here. Just a little bit to help out with the system we got going for the deck. Starting with Contentious Plan for 1 and 1 blue. This one has obvious relevance to the deck. It proliferates, then you draw a card. This we want 4 of to cycle a bit through the deck and add counters to our creatures and planeswalkers. Okay. Last but not least, Sinister Sabotage, 1 and 2 blue. I'm running 3 of these in the deck. Simple explanation for its relevance in the deck. Like all counters, it's to stop your opponent's deck from doing what it needs to do, or counter a spell that's going to kill your creatures. There are so many sweeper cards in standard right now, and so much removal that if your deck can play some counters, do so. This one is just a personal favorite because of the Surveil, again helping you move through your deck to find what you really need. Feel free to sub in cards like Band Together, Bond of Flourishing, Kasmina's Transmutation, can't talk today, Lazotep Plating, and you know, all those are great picks. You know, sub those in, and that's really it. All right, so that's my new Simic Spark. Please share any thoughts and or ideas. What do you like? What do you not like? Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.